All right, thank you for staying with us. Now, male fertility is any health issue in a man that lowers the chances of his female partner getting pregnant. About 13 out of 100 couples can get pregnant, and there are many causes for infertility in men and women. In over a third of infertility cases, the problem is with the man. Interesting, because in this part of the world, the woman bears the burden. But joining us to talk about this is a gynecologist and the Chief Executive Officer of Nordica Fertility Center, Dr. Abayomi Ajayi. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Veronica. It's my pleasure to be here.
Now, like we were saying behind the camera, we always find that in this part of the world, the woman bears the burden. But now from statistics, 30% of what we see happen, over 30%, is the man. Help us understand this.
Yeah, well, I think it's a cultural thing, okay?
Yeah.
Actually, you're kind when you say 30%, because it's actually when the man alone is responsible is 30%. When you take when the man is contributing to infertility, is up high as about 50%.
Wow.
So we know now that men contribute equally, if not more, to infertility than women.
So put to better perspective, what male infertility constitutes.
Well, yeah, male infertility is the inability of a man to get his wife or his partner pregnant. So, and there's so many reasons why that can be so. Okay, if we look at it from the point of view of, okay, let's look at production to when it's transported, you know, to the quality of what is actually produced, then to the lifestyle factors. Because really and truly, I think if we're not going to say anything on this program today, one of the things we need to say is lifestyle. That is a major contributor to male infertility. Why I'm even wanting to talk about it is because it's also the only reversible cause of male infertility.
Yeah.
So, but you know, these days now, the way young men drink and smoke, not only cigarettes, but the other one also.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, in my when I wake up every day, I just see this young man, beautiful cars parked all over the place near the ocean. And it's this thing you see day in, day out. But they don't know that most of the time they're smoking their
children
fertility away. And then you see this six-pack thing, people using steroids to develop muscles and so on, also affects their fertility. So it's a lot of things that were going on, not to talk of the ones that are not, we can't even control, like toxins, you know, in the environment, in plastics, and so on and so forth. Those are also contributors to male factor infertility.
I just want you to explain about fertility, because I know what you're talking about. But for the sake of our viewers, that fertility doesn't mean you cannot perform. You can perform very well. It's just that what you are shooting are blanks. Please, I need you to help me explain it to them very well.
You can't put it better.
You have said it.
Yeah, you can shoot blanks. All right?
That they are shooting blanks.
Virility is different from fertility. Virility is about that you can have intercourse with a woman. It depends what you're now delivering. The quality of what you're delivering is a different entity entirely. So you can do 4 or 5 rounds and be delivering blanks.
Doctor, let me even ask you, so the quality now, I heard that there's a way you can, even before going to the doctor, there's a way you can check the quality from the wateriness. How true is that? That's one. 2, I also heard, we discussed that you can actually, you know, be able to impregnate a woman without entering. Please break it down for us.
Yeah, well, the first one is a myth. Okay, there is no way you can evaluate a man's fertility.
In the wateriness
In the
or
wateriness,
the thickness?
no, there is no way. You need a laboratory to see, because sperm cells are living organisms. So you need to be able to see them under the microscope for you to say that, okay, this man has sufficient, and the WHO has given us the criteria to look for. Okay, so you need the lab for that. Now, the second one is that, remind me again.
He cannot enter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we've had so many, and that's sometimes you've seen virgins getting pregnant. Because the lady is a virgin, and this man comes up, and he encourages him up to a point, and he says no. And the man says, let me just release. Those are usually children, you know. And the guy releases around, and one of the sperms is lucky enough to find his way. And because they're moving organisms. So they're cells, so it can move and then get the girl pregnant.
Food soldiers.
Yeah. When they're good, they're good.
All right, sir. At what point would you say a young man should start thinking about his fertility and the health of, the health of that area? Because for young girls, for when you're small in secondary school, we're teaching you little things. But for boys, we leave it until they're
find it themselves.
No, or never.
Yeah, I agree with you. But even when we're teaching these young girls too, I don't think it's sufficient. Health, sex education, and generally about health we are very poor in this part of the world.
Right.
Even what we eat, we're becoming more conscious, but still, it's not there. And it's when you are encourage people like this. Look, if you're doing this now, some people will switch off because it's health.
Yeah.
But if it is some other things, if it's Big Brother or whatever, you see many people tuning in. And what I tell people is that the most incredible, the best asset you have is your body. You are the only one that is in charge of it. So you need to know about how to maintain it, how to make sure that it works optimally for you.
Okay, let me just add real quick. So like women, you'd go for like maybe monthly or annual checkups. Like a man, before he gets married, are there checkups or things he can do to just make sure that place is fine?
Well, unfortunately, most of the time, there are no symptoms. Okay. So there is nothing that might suggest that he has a problem. Okay, so what we wait for most of the time is that, okay, you're having regular intercourse and your partner is not saying I'm pregnant. So usually it comes later on in life, except for some very few people who probably have erectile problems, okay, who seek help much earlier, or people who probably their breast development, a man suddenly having a large breast, those are some of the pointers that might make you to say, okay,
You should check.
Yeah.
So those who perhaps find themselves in this circle, at what point can it be resolved? And at what point would you say, forget it?
You see, I don't think we ever say forget it, because there are always different ways of treating male factor infertility. It depends on the first thing, how severe is this problem, okay? For some, it's not very severe, so we can even do what we call the first thing sometimes is timing. Are they really having intercourse at the right time? Okay. So we can do what we call intrauterine insemination, which is just taking the sperm, preparing it, and injecting it into the woman. Okay. Very minimal technology involved. Okay. So when now we talk about IVF, okay. For IVF also, there is no number of times that you can attempt. It's a decision the two of you need to make. I've seen people who got pregnant at the 17th trial. I've seen people who got pregnant at 11th trial. And I've seen people who after to say, you know what, we're not doing this thing again. So there's so many things, but there's a lot of improvement even with that in IVF technology now. There's so many methods that we're using to achieve pregnancy, because we are also seeing that even from, I think most of the learning that we're having is actually from IVF. What IVF has done to us is not just treatment, but also now that you can watch the gametes develop outside the body, it's telling us a lot of things. We're beginning to see the importance of the male, even in reproduction. We did not know so much about that before. We just thought once the sperm can fertilize, that's the end of it. But now we're beginning to know that it's a lot more than that. Because there's a genetic component of it that you can even get. There's some tests now that we're doing that we were not doing before. Right. For example, we call one DNA fragmentation index, which is even very, very new, which we are now doing. We can see now that when men have this, when this is very high, even if they get their wife pregnant, the rate of miscarriage is much, much, much higher.
It's high.
So those are some of the things. And cigarette smoking, all these things also contribute to that.
All right, quickly before you ask your question, we have a caller from Lekki. Go ahead with your contribution.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Please, doctor mentioned one thing now, very, very crucial, about male. You mentioned something like men developing a breast or something like that.
Yes.
That has something to do with fertility or something like that.
Yeah.
And secondly, that men cannot be checked, through their sperm count and what have you.
Yeah.
To know whether they are fertile or not, or they can impregnate. Please, I would like you to elucidate more about it, please.
All right. Thank you, Hassan.
Yeah, because a man is not supposed to develop large breasts. So that immediately shows you that the hormones are not, they're playing some
Balance,
tricks.
yeah.
So you need to see the doctor quickly about
So
that.
it's not that he's chopping life because they think it's their chopping life.
That
So
one
the
is the
thing is
stomach,
coming
not the
out.
breast.
It's all together. It's a package.
Yeah, but
I wanted
sometimes
to
I
ask,
hear that,
okay.
sorry, that sometimes the development of breasts is to do with male menopause. Because people don't really talk about male menopause.
The menopause too?
Andrew,
Yeah.
Andrew first.
And well,
Andrew.
Not really.
it's something that, you know,
There is a name for it, I've forgotten
andropause.
Andropause.
And I know, you see, some of these things are, I don't want to say that they are dramatic, okay, but there is no doubt that men's fertility starts declining from about 40. Takes a major hit at 45. The capability to fertilize, I mean, no matter
Those
the age
men
of...
at 90 that give birth to children, what did they happen?
Well, it's possible. That's why
should do DNA?
that's why we're not calling it, I don't agree in this pause thing.
Okay,
Because that
okay.
it's just your ability decreases. It does not mean
It
zero.
stops. Yes.
okay,
yes.
okay.
Decreases.
Yeah.
Okay, doctor, so I want to ask you two things quickly. What's the role of stress in male infertility? And secondly, you know, you highlighted a bit when you were giving your analogy about those people who want to carry packs. Now, I'm talking about those who are not taking pills, but they just go to the gym because they want to build packs. Does it affect infertility?
No, if you're not using anything funny, you are good.
Just natural?
You are good, yeah. But the second one is stress. Stress is to be blamed for almost everything in this world. So the problem most of the time is to differentiate between what is causing what.
Oh, all right.
You know, stress definitely is bad for even our well-being.
Yes.
So, and of course, it can affect almost everything.
All right.
Erection and everything.
We have a caller on the line again. Perhaps you want to make a contribution. Please go ahead. Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning to the doctor. I'm Alkari from Kaduna.
All right, Alkali.
All right. I'm a first-time caller, though.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I actually wanted, because I have a similar problem like that too. But the problem is, I've noticed that when you want to undergo these clinical trials and everything, it's extremely expensive. And just the doctor rightly mentioned, it takes someone to go for that trials for more than one, twice, 10 times before it works out. So, but you see, that will even discourage one from undergoing that. Yes, exactly.
All right.
So, what advice? I think I need advice on that.
Okay. He said that the costs, the out-of-pocket treatment is quite on the high side. So a lot of persons avoid going for tests and all of that because of the cost. So what's the advice you give such persons?
It's a difficult one for everyone. Okay. The government is the only one that can provide some of these things that probably is subsidized or whatever. Healthcare anywhere in the world now is no longer free. Let's face that, number one. But government can subsidize. But you see, when somebody has taken a loan of like the bank, they always talk to the wrong people. Why don't you talk to the banks? If you have taken a facility of 30% that is going at 30%, and you start a laboratory, do you understand me? You must make money back to pay the banks. If not, you will not be able to render the service.
Absolutely.
So that's some of the things the dilemma that some of us who are practitioners also face. There is no light, there is nothing, there is
You're providing everything.
You're providing everything, including security. So it's...
Lights, generator, everything.
Okay, I think maybe he's saying that for those who can afford, is there anything they can be doing for the meantime until they're able to raise money, or
an option?
Is there an option?
Maybe they should start early, okay? Prevention, try to prevent, okay? And that's one of the things that we've been talking about, lifestyle. Make sure that you don't gain weight excessively. Make sure that you don't...
As a man.
Yeah, as a man. Oh, it does affect, BMI affects fertility. Okay, it affects the DFI index, also the DFI also. So,
DFI.
DNA fragmentation index, the one I said the other time, that when it's high, you see a lot of miscarriages, even when they get pregnant.
Okay.
So make sure that you don't excessively drink alcohol and smoke cigarette if possible. Make sure that no recreational drugs. You know, do some of those things that can be avoided, because some cannot be avoided because they are genetic.
Yeah.
Right.
So the ones that are genetic, you probably don't have any influence on that. But the ones that are lifestyle related, then you can.
So you said
them.
you asked me you said something before that made me curious. You talked about you put the sperm under a microscope. You know, we know that the books that we have read, you know, you see the thing swimming. So when you put it under a microscope, you don't see anyone swimming. Just
No, they swim.
No, that's if it's blanks, right?
if they are blanks.
There's nothing.
So when you see the
nothing.
microscope, there's nothing swimming.
No, nothing swimming.
We have a call.
Okay.
Quickly.
12% of the men that I've seen are not zero in the clinic.
Wow.
Whoa.
Let's
We
quickly
need
take
about
this
900.
call. Let's
What age
quickly
group
take
would
this
you
call,
say?
please. We have a call on the line. All right, go ahead with it. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, doctor.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question. The IVF, how long does it take? Because people run IVF under like mostly, but especially twins. Because normal twins come like 8 months for delivery. And if you run an IVF, maybe if the pregnancy is very disturbing, how long is it took to come out? Maybe in terms of premature or whatever. First, I want to ask you another question. Is there anything wrong somebody to make love regularly? Or is there any effect? Or is there any effective of that? But please educate us of that IVF, because IVF is very heavy in the sense of like 99% of people who do IVF need twins. What they normally do, the IVF of like triplets, I believe that it may come out from like 7 months, because I had a twins. And I had a twins.
All right.
So my twins.
Thank you so much.
Together.
He wants you to address the issue of IVF. He said normal twins, 8 months, but out of IVF,
I don't know what is normal and what is not normal. IVF are normal babies. So it's the same.
I'm just trying to put it word for word, what you said.
Veronica, I know.
So he's saying the normal birthing of twins, that is, takes 8 months for him, and he had twins. And then for IVF, sometimes there's a challenge, 7 months. So he wants to understand if there's any issue.
That's the issue.
No,
the IVF
it's not the issue. See, one of the things that we're doing now in Nigeria, which is very unfortunate, is that we're trafficking in babies.
Yeah.
And that is giving a lot of correlation to so many things. So many people say they've done IVF, and they've not really done IVF.
They buy the babies.
So
Wow.
IVF babies are normal babies. They stay the same duration in the uterus like babies conceived on the bed.
Okay, so yes, I want to ask a question. So, you know, we're talking about taking
Quickly,
stuff.
because of time.
Okay, steroids. But there's this thing that is quite popular now where they're always selling all sorts of aphrodisiacs for men that they can perform wonders. I think we need to talk to men about that. And I feel that that may also affect fertility in future.
Sure. You see, the problem with that is that sometimes you don't even know what it contains.
Yeah.
They call it Chinese capsule. They call all kinds of silly things.
Even herbs.
Even herbs. Exactly. So sometimes we don't even know what it contains. So some men are killing themselves, and they say they want to perform.
Fire.
They will fire one day and not come back. So, but I think we should try to make everything as natural as possible. I think also maybe the ladies also their expectation.
We should reduce our expectations.
Exactly, expectation management.
It's unfair. The caller
other
also
question.
added, he also added the fact that he was asking if it's okay for regular performance.
Yeah, that's what, after all, I think that's, we expect that couples should have intercourse regularly. So it's...
What's your idea of regular, sir?
Oh, well, you know, we say that for you to say a couple is infertile, they must be having 2 to 3
times a week?
A week.
Okay.
So before we can agree that they they're trying enough.
Okay. What about
There's one
every day?
important
Is it possible?
information you were about
Better.
to give us, where you were talking about the percentage of people that you see in your office.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
asking what age group would you say they
No,
fall
we actually
within?
clumped them together. We looked at 990-something sperm samples. 12% of them were zero, complete zero. So, and that's why we've been talking a lot about male factor infertility.
Right.
Actually, we also compare sperm samples between 2003 and 2013. We saw a decline of 37%.
Whoa. Lifestyle.
Background.
We now extended it to this year. It became 40.7 decline from 2003. But the most alarming was the motility, because the most important characteristic of sperm is the ability to move. Between 2003 and 2013,
They're not
it
moving
was
anymore.
5-point-something%. Between 2003 and 2021, 20% reduction in
They
motility.
are not moving.
They are
again.
not swimming again.
It looks like church conventions have to change their thing from fruit of the womb to the seed of the groin. Of the loin.
Well, the good thing is that we don't try to differentiate between the two, because
It's still the same
it takes two to tango.
But it's a lot. It calls for concern. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you, sir.
Gynecologist and the Chief Executive Officer of Nordica Fertility Center, Dr. Abayomi Ajayi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. We have enjoyed having you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me.
Now we know about swimming and not
And
swimming.
not swimming. That's all we can
And
take on today's
motility
show.
and
See you
DFIs.
tomorrow and have a great day. Bye for now.